Hi everybody, welcome back to Art with Mrs. S. Today we're going to be practicing how to create value or light and shadow using pencil on paper. And I'm going to actually do 4 different techniques today. So just a way to really kind of separate those things, I'm going to draw a line horizontal down my piece of paper and a line vertical kind of towards the center. They don't have to be perfectly even. So that I just have 4 different areas to practice these techniques today. I am using a pencil, so you'll want a nice sharpened pencil, maybe even an eraser to practice these techniques. And it's really nice to have that blank paper, but if you have lined paper, that'll work out just fine as well. So the first technique we're going to practice here, you might already have done this, it's smudging. So in that top left, I'm going to put smudging. Sometimes you'll hear us describe it as blending or smearing your pencil. And I like to use the side of my pencil, so kind of lay it flat. I'm going to press kind of light and press darker as I go. This works really good when you're doing a drawing with lots of different values, or if you want to draw a person's face, or if you're drawing the shadow on maybe a fruit or another object. Kind of going lighter and darker, and as you can see, I press harder to get those darker values. I can go back over to get those darker values, and I'm pressing harder in those areas. Now to smudge these values, you can use your finger. You could use something like a Kleenex or tissue and wrap it kind of around that index finger. Or you could do, there are some blending sticks that you can buy that are like rolled paper. I'm going to just kind of pick up some of that pencil and smudge or smear it around. And you can blend these so it smooths out those sharp edges. You can kind of get those middle values. We're going to smudge or we're going to smear, and you can kind of see that's what your finger would have on it. So I just have a Kleenex there to smudge or smear those values. The other technique we're going to practice is a little harder. We're going to be drawing lines, and this is called hatching. My lines today are going to be diagonal. So I'm drawing these. You can use the tip of your pencil and draw nice straight sharp lines, or you can kind of slant your pencil and create many diagonal lines that are not touching. You can get really, really close together to create those darker values. You can press harder to create those darker values. You can go over top to create those darker values. They don't all have to go the same way in the same set, but you do want them close together. And look how quickly I'm drawing. I'm not worried about how straight they are. I'm not concerned on whether they're exactly the same distance apart. Those lines, and try not to touch. What I have is some students will rush and they have kind of more curved lines that do that. That's not really what we're looking for. Those nice straight lines going light to dark, or even lights, and they're dark hatching. The next technique we're going to do is similar to hatching, but this one uses lines that go more perpendicular to each other. Cross hatching. So just like with hatching, I'm going to create those lines that run side by side together. I do more diagonal lines. But now you're going to go back the opposite direction diagonal and cross. Some people make some really nice squares, or it looks more like a rhombus or diamond in there, or a parallelogram. Or cross hatching. I can come back over and keep practicing this. And take your time. If you've never done this before, you're just not really confident drawing straight lines yet, practice it. A diagonal that helps you to turn your paper to get that other diagonal. To get those to be lighter and darker, those same principles of pressing harder, going over top, getting them closer together, changing how you're holding your pencil will help with those things. So that would be cross-hatching. This last one takes probably the most time, and it's called stippling. Mine will be a little hard to see here, so I'm going to do mine pretty dark, but stippling uses many, many, many dots grouped together to create those values, those lights and those darks, or those shadows. So I'm pressing pretty quickly here, pretty hard to get all these dots. What you do not want to do, we should not be raising our pencil as high and hitting our paper, creating those loud drumming noises. Not what we want. And it also will not make very nice dots. They'll be kind of have like a tail to them, look more like a comet. So to create dark, dark, dark values with stippling, we need lots of these small dots grouped together, not really touching. Sometimes you'll have them touching or overlapping to create really dark values. But when we create those lights, you still want a lot of dots. You just may not be pressing as hard. You won't have as much pencil on your paper. So again, sorry if these are hard to see on the camera. They are very small. I'll try to keep my hand out of the way and make some more of those dots. You don't have to fill the entire rectangular square. That would take you a very, very long time. There are some artists that completely draw in just stippling or just dots or just paint with stippling to create those dark and light values. So I've practiced getting some darks, some middles, some lights, and I could practice in other areas getting those dots and getting that motion down. You're going to have smudging or smearing, hatching, just those diagonal lines or straight lines side by side, cross hatching, where they kind of intersect, going one set going one direction diagonal, and then kind of turn your paper and going the opposite direction, and then stippling with my dots. Hopefully you enjoyed today. I can't wait to see everybody's practice techniques. Make sure you upload your designs into Padlet. Thanks for joining us today.